Hello, and welcome to Rethinking Our History, where we seek to shed a light on events that have been forgotten and covered up, and to make us all question how much do we really know about our history? I'm Felicia.
And I'm Ian, and we are here to reveal all the sordid details of history that have been swept under the rug. Get ready to get angry, be curious, and maybe have a laugh or two as we rethink our history.
Hello, friends.
Hey guys.
Thanks for joining us for another lesson, number 74.
Nice.
I wanted to take a look at a man today who has been credited with many inventions, though there is debate over who actually invented the products he got patents for. During his life, he registered 1,093 patents, and he probably didn't even invent a tenth of them.
Are we talking about Tesla?
No, but he worked for this man.
Edison?
Thomas Alva Edison.
No.
Was born on February 11th, 1847 in Milan, Ohio, even though they probably say Milan, to parents Samuel Ogden Edison Jr. and Nancy Matthews Elliott. Edison was the seventh and last child born to the couple, and around age 7, the family moved to Port Huron, Michigan. His father had moved to Vienna, Ontario when he was an adult, but had to leave due to his involvement in the rebellion of 1873.
Hell yeah.
I was like, I don't know what that is, but let me write it on my little list of topics to cover. Because that sounds, I love a rebellion.
Rebel scum.
I'm a rebel scum. Edison was homeschooled by his mother, who was a former school teacher. He did attend a regular school for a few months, but he did better learning on his own by reading books. One such book that inspired him was titled A School Compendium of Natural and Experimental Philosophy, which got him to start tinkering and thinking about electricity. He also read through a set of books his parents owned by Thomas Paine, one of the founding fathers. Around the age of 12, Edison, or Alva as he was known at the time, developed hearing problems. He would lie about what caused this through most of his life, but historians believed it was caused by a case of scarlet fever and repeated untreated ear infections.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's got to be painful.
You had a history of ear infections as a kid, didn't you?
Yeah.
Thankfully, your parents treated it because science.
Yep.
He would end up
yummy bubblegum medicine.
Don't. I have trauma around bubblegum. He would end up losing hearing completely in one ear and could barely hear out of the other one. Later in life, he believed his lack of hearing helped him concentrate on his work better, which is an autistic person who has hypersensitive hearing. I can fucking imagine it would help.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're not distracted by the sound of cars on the road or the electricity coming out of the fucking refrigerator.
Yeah.
Around the same time, he began to work as a newsboy on trains that ran from Port Huron to Detroit. By the age of 13, he was making $50 a week, which he spent on electrical and chemical experiments. Edison began a paper, the Grand Trunk Herald, which he sold with the other papers. It only ran 24 issues but had 500 subscribers, and Edison had to hire 2 assistants. He died. He
just died.
I read the last word of the sentence. Uh-oh. You freeze again?
No, I got booted out somehow. My Streamlab died.
Well, that's lame.
Felicia said die, and it was just like, okay, blip.
Well, that's weird.
It blew. Let me try to go back in.
Yeah.
He died. No, he didn't die. My camera died. because my phone's old and I didn't know that my camera on my new phone didn't have a dongle.
Yeah, can we get the ports back on phones, please? Because
Yeah.
that's stupid.
Everything digital now, it's not cool because Radio Shack
Yeah.
and adapters and
Yeah.
electrical things
Yeah.
need
Your
stuff
digital shit
to
still
where we
needs
can
shit.
fix it.
Like, it's stupid. I drive a 2015 car. It's only 11 years old, but it does not have Bluetooth. I have an aux cord.
Dude, guess where your battery is?
Where is my battery?
Holy crap.
But like, it
It
doesn't.
is underneath shit.
Like, my car doesn't have Bluetooth. It has an aux cord, but my phone doesn't have a jack.
Yeah.
So I can't use the aux cord. So I have a stupid Bluetooth aux thing, and the bitch dies all the time. And
Do you know how you replace your battery?
you gotta like take the engine out.
The left wheel well.
You gotta take the wheel off.
Yes. And the side skirt.
Bitch, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully your battery don't die soon, or I'll be taking that tire
I'll
off.
be taking it over to Junaluska Auto. Be like, hey,
Yep.
you fix this for cheap. Can you fix this for cheap? I got the battery for you. I just don't want to switch it. Hey, don't they switch out batteries at like O'Reilly's and shit?
No, they just test them.
Oh, Napa used to, I think. Or maybe that was because I bought so many batteries at Napa that they would switch it out for me.
Maybe.
Because my Nissan had a bad alternator. So, okay. He framed the first edition of his paper and hung it in his home until he died. Not your damn camera. As a kid, Edison and a neighbor built a small telegraph line. He would spend time with telegraph operators while on the trains learning how to operate it. He got a job as a telegrapher in the general store before he moved to Stratford Junction, Ontario. Here he got a job as a night telegrapher for the Grand Trunk Railway. While he was working, he would also be studying qualitative analysis and would conduct chemical experiments. He did not sleep much during the day either, which led to 2 trains almost colliding on his shift.
Oh boy.
After that, he resigned. From 1863 to 1869, Edison had several night shift telegraphy jobs in several states. Telegraphy. That is right? That doesn't sound...
Telegraphy?
Telegraphy? That doesn't sound right either. English is stupid.
Telegraphic jobs.
No, it's telegraphy, I think. I guess the art of telegraphs is telegraphy. I just never said that word out loud, so it sounds stupid. But I guess that's right.
It's like calligraphy, except digital.
Kinda, yeah. At one job he held for Western Union, he worked for the Associated Press Bureau Newswire. He would go on to join the National Telegraph Union and write for their magazine. As well as tinkering, Edison learned how to speak Spanish. He had a reputation among other telegraphers for being bright and willing to try new things. However, his hobbies would often interfere with his work. From 1867 to 1869, while in Boston, Edison... Is that my kid? Our kid? Edison was able to make some money from his invention of a stock ticker. However, he lost that business when he tried to expand into New York. His first patent, that was for an electric vote recorder, was granted on June 1st, 1869. Edison then moved to New York City in the same year. He would actually be staying with a friend and fellow telegrapher, Franklin Leonard Pope, who allowed Edison, my mouth broke, to live in his basement in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Edison was working for Samuel Laws at the Gold Indicator Company, but in October of 1869, Pope and Edison founded their own company as electrical engineers, with Edison bringing in the wealthy investors. With the funds from their investors, the two were able to hire 50 employees and opened a larger shop in Newark, New Jersey, where they would rent out telegraph lines. They also manufactured machines to record telegraphs and typewriters that printed directly to the wire. Edison took a chemistry course at the Cooper Union for the advancement of science and art to support his work. Particularly, he and Charles Batchelor were attempting to create a new telegraphy system. Edison and Pope's company grew to a few hundred employees, and in 1876 they received $30,000, or the equivalent of $853,676 in 2025, for creating a telegraph that could transmit 4 messages on one wire. With the money, Edison invested in the Port Huron Street Railway, which was owned by his brother William Pitt. He was also able to expand the business he had with Pope and hired his father and nephew. In 1876, Edison built the first industrial laboratory, quote, concerned with creating knowledge and then controlling its application, end quote. And this is where the patents come in. Many of the patents were inventions created by those who worked for him. Let's just Many of Edison's patents were inventions created by people that worked for him,
Not him himself.
not Edison. Okay. He worked them hard, expecting them to work the same 18-hour days he worked. He would work 18 hours Monday through Friday, 12 hours on Saturday, and then they might be lucky if they only had to work like 6 hours on Sunday.
Jeez.
Yeah. His employees included several patent lawyers, which allowed him to challenge the intellectual property rights of many of his peers. Think about that, folks.
Yep.
To curate his image, Edison shut down public and reporter access to the lab and only did interviews. Within a decade, the lab occupied 2 city blocks to house as many different materials as possible. The same year he built his lab, Edison took on another project with wanting to develop a carbon microphone for telephones. This led him and his backers at Western Union to attempting to compete with Alexander Graham Bell. Dumbass. The invention that would gain him greater attention, however, was the phonograph, one of the first devices made to listen to music on. He brought this invention to the public in 1877 and got a patent for it in 1878. However, his use of tinfoil limited the sound quality and durability of the recording. So in the 1880s, Alexander Graham Bell, Chichester, sorry. It's a weird name. Chichester Bell and Charles Tainter
I hardly knew her.
began to produce their own phonograph, this one using wax-coated cardboard cylinders.
Nice.
This lit a fire under Edison to finally do some work on his own invention, and in 1887 he founded the Edison Phonograph Company. Edison partnered with Ezra Gilliland, who worked for Bell previously. Unfortunately, their venture ran out of funds before they could even get a product to the market. This caused them to go to a quote unquote exploitative investor for funds. They went to a loan shark.
Yep. They're gonna break his knees.
They gonna break his fucking kneecaps. Edison, he gonna sleep with the fishes.
He's gonna be sleeping down at the docks tonight.
Edison was approached by Jesse Lippincott with a deal that would bring him, Gilliland, and Bell together, but Jesse knew Edison was not likely to accept the offer, so he hid the fact that he, Gilliland, and Bell would be involved and sent the offer through Edison's attorney. Edison was furious when he found out about the scheme. His friendship with Gilliland ended once he left for Europe. I said Gilliland. Edison then took the others to court, and after 5 years, he finally got control of the company. This drama led to other dramas that tore apart this group of wealthy inventor friends. Oh no, how sad. They're all stabbing each other in the back.
Money
Who
broke
would
'em
have ever
up.
guessed?
Oh,
Oh no, people are selfish and greedy.
not money.
Not money. It would take years for Edison to get a phonograph to market. His main issue was finding a material that would withstand prolonged use while also not wearing out the phonograph needle. He attempted to build talking dolls that had small phonographs in them, but they would fail during shipment, so production was shut down in 1890. Can you imagine the first fucking talking dolls that have phonograph? You gotta like crank this little
Yeah.
in the back, and then it's like.
You remember the little thing that spun with the farm sounds on it? The cow goes,
I still love that thing.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's a vinyl
Is it?
inside of it. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it's like kind of the succession of what he was trying to do.
And I don't know if you had like the
I've got
talking dolls,
I got my Freddy doll somewhere.
the one with the string.
Yep, the one with
Yeah.
the string. And that's what's inside of it. It's a little cylinder that spins and it's got a little needle. It goes, "Hi, I'm Freddy.
Creepy.
Give me a hug."
Um, Edison was hoping to make the phonograph a business tool. However, in 1899, his company would give in to market demands and create a cheap model for entertainment purposes. In 1900, it sold for $10 and had a library of over 3,000 recordings customers could buy from as well. The music was largely picked by Edison, who again was pretty damn deaf, simply by what he thought sounded good. He also made it a point to not credit the artist for the work. Hmm
Horrible.
That, I don't know why, like, I don't know, he stole
So he's
people's inventions, like,
so he's the
oh,
original Napster.
pretty much. Yeah. The OG LimeWire. Edison had a couple of decades with his phonograph selling well before the radio came onto the scene. His company saw a loss of 90% in sales. Oh, wait. In 1921, his company saw a loss of 90% in sales compared to 1920. Young managers attempted to get Edison to join the radio market, but he instead focused on getting rid of employees who did not live up to his standards. He should have got in on the radio, man.
Should have.
In 1878, Edison began to tinker with electrical lighting systems that he hoped could be used in large commercial scale and compete with gas and oil based lighting. He was not the first to invent such a lamp, but those before him had been rife with issues. Instead of just focusing on the bulb, Edison took to look at the system of lighting as a whole. He went on to form the Edison Electric Light Company in New York with J.P. Morgan and Company, members of the Vanderbilt family, and other wealthy investors. And I believe maybe hang on, I'm like looking through here. I think this is where, and I didn't put it in here, but it said in like the notes, I think this is where Tesla actually worked for him at.
Right.
He worked for him when he started working for him with the whole lighting system.
That's what was in the movie. They were like both competing to make the first light bulb.
Mm-hmm.
And the system that, went with it. Because like
Yeah.
I want to say Edison was doing a DC system and then Tesla wanted the AC.
I'll get there.
That-
Yeah.
AC.
ACDC. On November 4th, 1879, Edison filed for U.S. patent 223,898 for an electrical lamp using, quote, a carbon filament or strip coiled and connected to platina contact wires, end quote. And platina is what they called platinum back then. But the patent Edison filed did not name one certain material for the carbon filament, but rather left it open so they could so they could experiment and find what worked best. The patent was approved on January 27th, 1880, and it would take several months for Edison and Batchelor to discover carbonized bamboo filament could last over 1,200 hours. With such a high resistant filament, Edison chose the 110-volt power source, which may be standard today, but was a much higher voltage than what his competitors were using. His employees, such as Tesla, were tasked with carrying out experiments on the filament, making the glass for bulbs, and establishing vacuums for the filament to incandesce incandescence within. The vacuum was an important part of the bulb as it would prevent reactions between the filament and gases inside the bulb. In 1878, Edison brought Francis Robbins Upton onto his company. Francis was a former student of German scientist Hermann von Helmholtz. Upton received 5% of the company profits and would become the general manager after his help with the electric lighting. John Ott also worked for Edison, making mechanical improvements as Edison suggested and conducting experiments in the lab. Both men agreed that Edison would take credit for many of the patents, but Ott was solely named on a few. Ott's brother Fred also worked for Edison for 57 years.
Wow.
I don't ever want to work for any man for that long. Edison partnered with Henry Miller to create a train that was powered and lit by electricity. Edison's company built the track while Villard financed the building of the train. It was a success and some of the technology was patented, but Edison was more focused on the bulbs and soon dropped the experiment. Edison would turn on the electrical system to supply 946 customers on September 4th, 1882. Ironically, no one really noticed what had just taken place. Some of them even came to Edison to ask why the system was not working. Edison had made a bulb so similar to a gas light that most people had not clocked the switch. They were like, eh, eh. Hey, what's the big deal? It's the same shit. A patent Edison attempted to get was denied in 1833. The U.S. Patent Office felt that his quote unquote filament improvement system was based on the work of William E. Sawyer. He did not, he did, however, come up with bulbs that would not get as black from the emission of charged carbon, called Edison effect bulbs. In 1883, he also applied for a patent for voltage regulating, the first patent for an electronic device in the US. The Edison effect would go on to help develop vacuum tubes, which isn't that what they used in the old TVs?
Yeah.
Used to get the static on.
Mhm.
I miss the static of old TVs. Is that a weird thing?
No.
I used to like walk up to it and just like run my hand over the screen and feel the static on it because it felt weird.
It's a white noise.
ADHD over here, folks. To avoid legal issues, Edison partnered with Joseph Swan, who held a similar patent, and formed a company called Ediswan to manufacture and market the invention in Britain. However, he still had to continue with Sawyer's patent, which was the better of the two and was owned by Westinghouse. They would take a good portion of the bulb market for themselves. So much drama over a fucking light bulb. After he created a viable electric light bulb in 1879, Edison set out to create the utility services needed to power the lamps and to compete with the gas and utility services. On December 17th, 1880, he founded the Edison Illuminating Company and would receive, or maybe it was that one that Tesla worked for. I don't know. Tesla worked for one of these companies under Edison.
Right.
And would receive a patent for electricity distribution sometime in the 1880s. To lessen the amount of copper wire that would be required to commercialize this new technology, because can you imagine how much copper wire it would take to
A lot.
commercialize electricity?
Yeah.
No wonder copper's such like a high price shit nowadays, because they done used it all.
Mm-hmm.
Edison invented the three-prong wire system, This allowed, quote, small gauge wires to be used than the status quo ante two-wire distribution due to less current being required to power a given electrical grid, end quote. You can see why I quoted that, because I don't know what the fuck that means. To help secure the rights to install underground electric lines, Edison's company opened up a second office on 65th Avenue. The Edison Machine Works and Edison Electric Tube Company opened in New York by the end of the year. We can also thank Edison for our power bill each month, as he invented one of the first ways to measure how much power a household is using to build them, of course. So, thanks, jackass.
Yeah.
In January 1882, Edison turned on the first steam generating power station in London. On September 4th, 1882, in New York City, Edison's quote, 600 kilowatt cogeneration steam power generating station, Pearl Street Stations, electrical power distribution system was switched on, providing 110 volts direct current, end quote. While Edison was expanding his DC power delivery system, other companies were expanding their AC or alternating current systems. Transformers had been developed in Europe and in the US by Westinghouse Electric, making it possible to transmit AC long distances over thinner, cheaper wires. It had one major advantage over Edison's system. It could be used over long distances, whereas Edison's system, customers had to be within a mile of the power plant. Edison did his best to try and get people to use DC over AC. When Westinghouse installed their first AC systems in 1886, Edison said, quote, just as certain as death, Westinghouse will kill a customer within 6 months after he outs in a system of any size. He has got a new thing and it will require a great deal of experimenting to get it to work practically, end quote. Edison did not give up on DC. By the end of 1887, he had 121 DC base stations to Westinghouse 68 AC base stations. Switching over 100 systems from DC to AC was out of the question to Edison, even though he was losing market share to Westinghouse. Another competitor, the Thomas Houston Electric Company, had also built 22 AC power stations. However, Edison would get a boon to his cause in 1888 when there was a series of deaths caused by pole mounted high voltage AC lines. This caused a media frenzy condemning high voltage AC and the lighting companies that used it. Edison teamed up with Harold P. Brown, another anti AC crusader, which just makes it sound like they just want to be hot. I'm anti AC. Well, you're a fucking idiot. And the two set out on a propaganda campaign. This campaign included the public electrocutions of animals with alternating current. Like, what the fuck, man? Despite all of that, AC became the industry standard. By 1890, Edison was considering leaving the lighting business due to the cost of patent battles and the possibility of a merger. In 1892, president of Edison General Electric, Henry Villard, teamed up with J.P. Morgan to form a merger of Edison General Electric and the Thomson Houston Company. But his plan would backfire when J.P. Morgan felt that Thomson Houston was the more valuable company. They got rid of Willard and put the board of Thomson Houston in charge of the new company, now called General Electric.
GE.
GE. Sorry, that's not the right theme song, but you know. GE now controlled 3/4 of the U.S. electrical business. While Edison had made a good payday on this deal, he was ready to leave the industry altogether. He was a figurehead of the company's board of directors for a few years before he sold his shares. And this is where we're going to end this episode today. This will be at least a two-parter. God, I hope it's only going to be a two-parter, but Who
Right.
knows? Come back next week for part 2 of this man's life when we look at more of his life, how his legacy has been inflated over the years, and the possibility that he may have had a hand in a few disappearances and murders.
Oh boy.
Murders. So, Bill, what do you think of Edison so far?
Well, I've kind of seen some, stuff on Edison.
Yeah.
I saw the Tesla movie or whatever. I'm not sure what it was called, but it was a documentary type movie, and he seems like an asshole. Seems
He's a
like he
major
didn't
asshole.
really do anything but like steal people's stuff. So
Pretty much. I mean, 1,900 or 1,093 inventions.
yeah.
I guess somebody could invent that much stuff in their lifetime, but like, no, you're not.
And then the whole fact that he supports DC over AC just like proves that he didn't really know the science behind it.
Didn't really understand it, what he was actually working with at all.
No,
Yeah, no. He didn't.
he just thought it was a competition because they were his competition.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, friends. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope you guys have a good week, and we will see you guys later.
Be kind to each other.
Love you. Bye.
Love you guys.